fucking man! He's not even fucking down! Who fucking knows it? Everyone's on quiet now, you can quiet now, isn't it? It's got in the fucking goal, mate! It's come off the fucking station! So I know! Don't get into all the shitty argument they're doing, all the shitty little fucking talking they're doing. Let's get the ball down and play. Don't moan at each other. You three will fucking arguing our heart.
Kendall, go on Kendall, nice footwork Kendall, yes! Yeah!
This is when you learn what character you fucking have. Because you had your pants pulled down by a shit fucking side that I would put in our development fucking team. Don't play fucking pub football, because that's all you cunts deserve at the moment.
To apologise. I'd like to apologise to absolutely no one! Ridiculous, like, oh my god, what age are we?
You're a little bit silly now. Getting a little bit silly now. Fucking hell! Listen!
It's all about to go off here.
I'll start hooking people.
Don't stop! We get a fucking right side! Don't stop!
Are they still hurt?
If I can make fucking 8 subs right now, trust me, I'll fucking do it.
Thank you very much, friend!
James, sorry mate, can we have some privacy? We're in the league. That's it.
Oh, fuck off.
Who fucking man? He's not even fucking down! Who fucking knows it? Everyone's on quiet now, you can quiet now, isn't it? It's got in the fucking goal, mate! It's come off the fucking station! So I know! Don't get into all the shitty argument they're doing, all the shitty little fucking talking they're doing. Let's get the ball down and play. Don't moan at each other. You three will fucking arguing our heart.
Kendall, go on Kendall, nice footwork Kendall, yes! Yeah!
This is when you learn what character you fucking have. Because you had your pants pulled down by a shit fucking side that I would put in our development fucking team. Don't play fucking pub football, because that's all you cunts deserve at the moment.
To apologise. I'd like to apologise.
You're a little bit silly now. Getting a little bit silly now. Fucking hell! Listen!
Alright, hello, we're back. And I'm just waiting for Dave and Tawhid to join. Apologies about that. It looks like there's a error in the device I'm using, as frickin' always. No new link yet received. Just got from Tawhid. Let me just invite him again. You have to look at my ugly face for a minute. Can you send it to that one? Okay, just putting in a new email address to get the boys back in. First one was always going to be a nightmare. Please share this new link if you're here as well with anybody and everybody on socials, etc. Just letting Tawhid know. Live stream issues. Right, connection's excellent now, so I shouldn't be roboting. Carly says, hi James. Yeah, this is a new one. I have put a link to it in the comments on the previous one, so hopefully everyone will pick it up. It says we've got 9 viewers, so let me know. Keep sharing. Oh, it's only just come up with me anyway, so there's a delay. So people will be seeing this piece with me now. Just waiting for Tawhid and Dave to join. Once they do, I'll set things up again. I'm just going to bring in a couple of images that I wanted while we're waiting. And another video. I can delete that video. And there's another video that I want to play, which is that one. So we're ready. All right, we've got decent connection now. Don't know what was going on before. Sorry about that. 10 concurrent viewers. Hey, Sue, I can see you've joined. Thank you. We're just waiting for Tawhid and Dave to come. Here they come. Here they are. Look at that. Let me just see if we can hear them by going to... There we go. Say something, boys.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes. Good knee shot. Oh, there we go. Right. No. I thought you were going to the bedroom.
Haven't been there. It was quick.
All right, let's just get back to a decent view. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. We're back up and running. Hopefully everyone can hear us. We lost 5 viewers by the look of it. Apologies, boss. Don't sack me. It's technology. Oh, it's dropping again now. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly, James.
Cool, 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 cool. Hello, Georgie, in the chat. Right, so let's just crack on. Let's do the intro. Let's hope things work out this time. So this is Let's Talk Romans. It's our new weekly broadcast. We might have a break for Christmas, but the idea is we'll do this every Wednesday. And I guess the idea behind it is to give you a bit more personality of players and other people in the club that you may not have been seeing from our videos. We want you to be able to ask questions, communicate directly with playing staff, players, coaches, managers, everybody, media team as well. I think it's fair to say, guys, that our videos have been quite rich and Tawhid and some of the key players centric so far. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So yeah, we just want to broaden that out, and we thought by doing this we can do that and get guests in, and obviously it gives the fans a chance to interact with us directly. On that note, before we get going, just wanted to say a massive thank you to Luca Allenson and to Adam Sparshot. Is that right? Have I got his name right?
Yeah.
Dave, you know. Yeah. So they were our first 2 members, because we now have a membership scheme on the YouTube channel, and this is it. So there are 2 levels that you can help us out with. All funds come into the club and get used to improve our marketing and our social media. So you've got Roman Centurion and Roman Prefect. Effectively, Roman Centurion, $2.99 a month, and you get lots of little bits online. So if Luca and Adam join this, you will notice that they get preferential highlighted comments. They're going to get our death before victory. Sorry, death before defeat. I always get that wrong. Before everybody else, they get to watch our issues much quicker. And you get a load of other member-only perks. We'll be doing member-only live streams, member-only videos in the future as well. And if you do upgrade to a Roman Prefect, then you will also get 1 free entry and a free drink at a match of your choice per month. So thank you to those 2 gents that have signed up for that. It's really appreciated. We're a new club. We're trying to grow. We're trying to grow financially. We're trying to grow a fan base, trying to grow everything. So any...
James?
Oh, you just
How do you mal right?
Yeah, it's perfect.
What?
We're literally a minute away from You're coming out my laptop. Oh, this is excellent. Bear with me. What on earth?
But still.
I don't even know where that's coming from. We're good at this stuff. Dave just started talking. pause that. That's on mute. Did you hear that? That was weird.
You can hear it.
Right. Back in. Let's go. The Wolf of Welwyn. That's you, Tawhid, apparently.
Apparently yeah.
A moniker that someone on Twitter has given you. We didn't come up with that name ourselves, and you certainly didn't come up with it yourself. Let's start with that. What do you think about that, and where do you think it's come from?
Where do I think it's come from? Well, I guess it's come from the fact that everyone talks about how much money we're putting into the club. So they probably link that with my background, where things didn't quite go to plan in my life, and I ended up serving a custodial sentence. So we've probably kind of pieced all of those things together and kind of come up with a Wolf of Welwyn, which is not quite as glamorous as the Wolf of Wall Street, but I'll take that for now, I guess. But yeah, it was. So I guess it was from all the information that people could find in dig up on me, and they kind of thought that was probably a suitable title, I guess.
Dave, go on. What do you want to say about that?
I don't think it's fair off the mark, to be honest. Now I'm seeing now, but you know, I'm delighted we're doing this today. As you can see, I did get dressed up. I think it's a big night. I've been loving the football. I think you'll agree it's been fantastic. The media, everything's been going really well. But the one thing that keeps sticking in my throat, and that's annoying the hell out of me, is the abuse he's been getting on social media from other managers, from supporters, fans. And I think tonight is appropriate night to we can put things to bed and we can ask him questions he might like, questions he mightn't like, but people can form their own opinion of him now.
Yeah, it's not just on media really. It's obviously at most games as well, to be fair. But when someone titled me as the Wolf of Welwyn, I thought these guys must have worked in one of my companies. It's got to be someone, because I tell you what, we have got some stories, which I might even share with you today, which is from my previous life.
Pre-Lisa.
Yeah, pre-Lisa.
Pre-Lisa. She's in the chat, so be careful. Yeah. Because of all the technicals, I didn't say the format of this is going to be us having a chat with Tawhid for about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, and then we'll dive into any comments and questions. So if you guys have got any comments or questions, and I've just seen Luca, because he's a member, we will shout him out. He said, get your worm out, Tawhid. He says that quite often when we do a live stream, but he's come up as a highlighted comment. But that's the plan. So we have a chat, and then we're going to go into comments and questions. So get your comments and questions in. So I was going to say there, Dave, when you said we might ask him things he doesn't like, I'm glad you're sat next to him on the sofa, and I'm here in Borehamwood, locked in my cabin. You're more skilled to sit next to him if he doesn't like a question. I missed that. Go on, say that again.
Sick.
You feel sick. So, okay, I'll kick off then, because you mentioned their custodial sentence, Tawhid. And I just want to put it out there as Kilroy Films. I'm a main sponsor on the shirts. I'm doing all this media for you. I'm putting myself out there. I wouldn't have gone into a partnership with somebody if I thought they had done some of the things that people say about you. And I just wanted to start by saying I met you at your wedding to Lisa. And I was booked to video your wedding by Carly, Lisa's sister, and Faye, Lee's wife, good friends of yours. So the first time I met you was about 10 minutes before your ceremony, putting a microphone on you and thinking, wow, he's a big guy. He's a nice guy. He's got some cool clothes on. I'd like to be his friend, right? That was my very first impression. But then I watched you throughout your whole wedding, interacting with Lisa's children that live with you. You're effectively a stepfather. Is that okay to say that? Is that the term you use? Yeah. 3 of them are adolescents. They're old enough to make their own minds up about things and see the world the way teenagers do. One of them's a young girl, and you've obviously got Ezra, a child with you and Lisa as well. And to be honest, I think Ezra wanted to marry you, and he didn't want Lisa to marry you because he just clung on to you for the entire wedding. So I came away from that thinking, family man, total family man. He's got stepchildren that look up to him, love him, all of the interactions with all of your wider family was positive. But then Lee drops the bombshell in his best man speech about your custodial sentence. And immediately I went home and Googled you, as lots of people clearly have on Spartan Forum before we even did our first video, YouTube comments, Twitter comments, etc., etc. But I made my decision based on the person that I met and I know now, and I've only ever seen that person I just described. So I looked at that article and thought, everyone has a past. I'll ask you more questions about that past, and we're going to do that now. I've done it before as well, though, obviously. And I'm a great believer in second chances and taking you for who you are today. So that's how I wanted to open this. Don't know if, Dave, you want to add something to that, your personal experience?
No, I just wanted to know a lot more, to be honest with you. You know, I've known T for a couple of years myself. I know some things that have gone on, but it's just to get to know T more, and I think this is a great opportunity. I think people should know more about him, you know, rather than shouting their mouth off before getting to know somebody. So I think this is a good time to do this.
Yeah, perfect. So do you want to just kick it off, T? What happened? What is that article based on?
First thing I'd say is I don't think anyone can go through life and look back and say they haven't made mistakes. And the one thing that I think, if you do make mistakes, you have to learn from them. So one of the things that I would say, the person that people know me to be now is someone that has learned from his mistakes in the past. So the truth is, if you had met me 5 years ago, before I received my custodial sentence, I was very different. I was arrogant. I thought I was better than anyone else. I thought I could do whatever I wanted. And I came off the back of being very successful in business, getting accolades for that, winning Hertfordshire Businessman of the Year. My recruitment company won Best Recruitment Company in the whole of the country. I was asked to help the government out within the NHS. I was on Channel 4 News. They followed me all around Europe to help the NHS. So basically, life was just on and up. Nothing had ever gone badly for me. And I think with that success, everyone wants success and everyone wants to make a lot of money. But if you don't know how to handle that, or if you've never been in that situation before, actually you can cause yourself more problems. And I think I'm big enough to admit that I did not handle all of that success properly. And like I said, did have an air of arrogance, thought I could do what I wanted, when I wanted. I had 85 to 100 staff working in my offices and turning over millions of pounds. You know, whatever I did was turning to gold at that point in time. Do you know what I mean? And I had all this staff that were kind of like, oh my God, you know, you're doing a great job, what you're doing, all this. So you imagine you've got all them people telling you you're great, you can't do anything wrong. You can start to get a bit of an ego. And I would certainly say I definitely had an ego about myself and thought I was invincible, thought I could do what I wanted. And I very quickly realized that that was not true. When I found myself in the four walls of a cell, which was like 2 meters by 6 meters, very different from my life that I had before. I think I was living in a £2 million mansion that had a snooker table, it had a different wing and things like that. And now suddenly I'm on a wing, but it's on a wing in a prison cell. So I have definitely learned from my mistakes. So you guys, I suppose, are fortunate to know the person I am now, because I definitely had flaws and didn't deal with the success that I had managed to kind of create in a good way. That resulted in me kind of not focusing on areas of my business that I needed to and keeping an eye on things. That resulted in the financial management of the business not being managed appropriately. That resulted in one of my main business going into administration. When all of this was happening, there was things that I was doing that were certainly clouding my judgment. There was a significant amount of alcohol. There was a significant amount of substance misuse and doing things that generally, you've seen Wolf of Wall Street, obviously, imagine Wolf of Welwyn. It was all those sorts of things going on. And those sorts of things clouded my judgment. And again, my marriage began to break down. When my business went under, I had a £2.4 million personal guarantee on the business, which was called in. So I then found myself from living in a big house, having everything, having all the cars, all this, everything I wanted, to suddenly being in sheltered accommodation and having no money and not having the ability to be able to get a mobile phone contract, you know, and that quickly changed. That put significant pressure on my personal life. I've gone from having everything to then having nothing, couldn't even provide for my family. This put significant pressure on my relationship. The relationship broke down. There was disagreement between me and
Can
my
I
wife
just
around the
interject there? So the relationship stuff was okay up until that point.
Yeah, we were married for, I believe it was 10 years, and we had a good 9 years, you know, 8.5, 9 years before, you know, there was this kind of pressure cooker environment where literally life went overnight, literally fell off a cliff kind of thing. And that's when the relationship broke down. And as I said, there was disagreements around kind of how we manage the children and things like that. You know, I still had that kind of air of arrogance around everything's got to be done my way. You know, elements of it were controlling. You know, things should be done the way that I want them to be done. And ironically, I received a custodial sentence for controlling and coercive behaviour. And I look back at it, you know, there was definitely elements of my traits in my kind of the way that I behave that were definitely controlling. And it's difficult because when you're running a company and you're having to be responsible for 85, 90 staff, all that turnover, you have to be a bit of a control freak. But I just let that element of control seep into my personal life, which wasn't appropriate. And as I said, I received a custodial sentence for that.
Just to come in on that, T. So I just want to know about your feelings. So one day you're doing great in business, everything's working out well, then turn to drugs. Now, was that recreational or was that because of the pressure you were under? Or
well, I'll tell you where it first started. So with my success, when I said it's difficult, people have got to be able to handle success. I thought it was cool to be going out after work, taking all the lads with me, started drinking. That led on to doing drugs. That led on to us staying out till 4 or 5 in the morning, doing stuff we shouldn't have been doing. So at first it came at a point thinking I could do what I wanted, and I would do that. And then when all the pressure from the business going under, I was kind of sat in a room doing those sorts of things on my own, in a bit of a recluse really, and let that take over my life really. So it began very small on a recreational basis, and it just seeped into my life. And I remember people used to say to me that you've got to stop. And my answer to them used to be, well, it's not even a problem. I can afford it. Yeah. You know, so that was my justification. Well, it's not a problem if you can afford it. And obviously I look back at it now, and since the day when I went into prison, I literally looked around and I thought, how the hell have I ended up here?
So
and
is it fair to say were you a drug addict, were you an alcoholic?
So I have never, ever been to rehab, never in my life. And with the substance misuse issue and that I had was significant. A lot of people that I speak to that I know have been into rehab are quite shocked that I've never been. And I think the shock of me not seeing my sons, losing my business, my marriage breaking down, and all of the negative things that come with that, you know, all them articles being written about me, you know, every day I had newspapers ringing me, asking me, you know, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? You know, I just wanted to hide from it all. And there was a real element of embarrassment and failure that was really, really, I had to try and come to terms with. And I think all of that, I'm sitting there on my own in that cell, thinking about it and thought, something's got to give. And when you think, right, you're using drugs, it doesn't matter, I can afford it, it's not causing me a problem. Drugs do get hold of you, and they do slowly just grab hold of you to the point that before you know it, you're in a situation that you are too far to kind of just ease your way out of. And I found myself in a situation that I actually thought I'd never be able to get out of it, to be honest.
When you're having all this, so you're on the drugs, the drink, you're at home, there's issues going on at home, fair to say. when was the first time you realised, hang on, I'm going to get arrested for this? Was it when the police turned up at your door? Was that?
Yes. Yeah. No. So there was a disagreement and there was an altercation around who would have the children on one of the days. I turned up. I wanted the children, and that wasn't something that my ex-wife would agree with. There was an altercation that happened. I took my sons with me. Police contacted me, said they wanted to speak with me. So I went and met them, thinking I was having a conversation with them. And that's at the point when they arrested me. And then when I was in the cell, they rearrested me for controlling coercive behaviour.
Which was a new law at the time, wasn't it?
It was a new law. I'd never heard of it before. Yeah. And it was something which I'd never heard of. And it incorporates so many elements. And obviously, some of you that know me, obviously, my wife, Lisa, is a criminal barrister. And she understands it a lot more than me, but obviously looking at it, there's so many different elements that kind of can be incorporated to controlling coercive behaviour. Obviously, I ticked quite a few of those boxes at the time, but yeah, that was the first time when I knew I was being arrested for it.
Right. So you've gone to, obviously, you're being charged. You go to court. Where was it? Was it Luton?
So it's St Albans Crown Court. Yeah. So the trial took place in Luton Crown Court, but the actual sentencing was in St Albans Crown Court.
Right, so obviously the court case went on and you were found guilty.
Yep.
What was it you got?
I got 33 months. And I lost my driving licence as well, and received charged with dangerous driving as well.
Can I just say?
The hammer?
Sorry, Dave.
Hang on, when you put down the hammer, what were your thoughts on that?
What are my thoughts?
Because I can just imagine 33 months, bang, take him down.
So my thoughts at the time, it didn't seem real. So it actually felt like a film. I don't know if any of you guys have watched any of them prison documentaries where you watch them, and I used to love watching them. There was a little bit of me thinking, I was like almost like in a film, and now I'm going down to see the prison, and I'll see what it's all like. So it wasn't really real. And I also thought at that point in time that my sentence would be appealed, and I thought it would just naturally be appealed and that I will be coming out of prison. So at the point when that happened, there wasn't too much stress. I actually think the stress was for the people on the outside, because they're the ones that have got to deal with, they don't know what's going on with me. They have all these horrible stories about prison. My wife, Lisa, she was pregnant with our son Ezra at the time, so you think, well, he's not going to be here for the birth or for his son. Obviously, I've got stepchildren that I was responsible for. I'm very close to my mum, so I look after my mum. So I had a lot of responsibility that I felt I'd let a lot of those people down, but also I had left the burden for them to just go and deal with life without me as well. So there was guilt from that point of view as well.
So, do you want to say something, James?
Yeah, my point on that, I don't know if it's clear to people watching or not, but the timeline between you separating and not living with your first wife, you've obviously started a new family, you've taken on stepchildren. When the charges actually came in, how long is that later? Did you say that? No,
so I split up with my wife in June 2018. So, and the incident happened, which I was arrested in October 2018, and me and Lisa had been together since December 2018. However, in terms of when I was convicted, that was August 2019.
Okay. And also, the thing I was going to say before, if you read the comment article that everyone's throwing in your face at every opportunity, right? It reads as if you were a wife beater, physical.
Yeah.
What are your comments on that?
There was some occasions where things got physical. So that day where I went to go and get my sons, there was a kind of tussle between trying to get my sons in the car and my ex-wife that was there at the time. I pulled her back from her shoulder. She ended up falling on the ground. This was all caught on camera. And there was a few times where we had arguments and fights, and I was trying to leave or she was trying to leave, and there was kind of pushing and shoving and things like that. That had happened. So there was things, that, as I said, wasn't proud of. And that that kind of happened at the point between June 2018 and October 2018.
Okay. Yeah.
Lead up,
So-
to be honest.
Yeah, and the thing I'd kind of say about that as well, like I said, you know, there was things that were clouding my judgment at the time. Obviously, just had the business that had gone into administration. That business went into administration in June 2017, and obviously over that year from that point, there was significant stress. But obviously, again, the drugs and the alcohol played a significant factor in that as well.
Yeah. And I just want to say, obviously, that we don't know your first wife. We don't know any of her family. We don't want to say anything in this that would deliberately upset them or anything. And I don't think we are. I just want to make that very clear. We're talking about you as a rehabilitated person who fully stands up and recognises the things that you've done wrong in the past.
What's actually interesting is when it was all happening, and I was in the middle of all of this, and I had been arrested, and I went to court. All I cared about was being found not guilty. That's all I cared about, and that was my main aim. I didn't actually look at the things that I was being charged for, whether I was actually guilty of any of them. All I cared about was being found not guilty. And if I now went back with a clear mind and looked at this now and thought, actually, that's probably true, that's probably true. Okay, that's not true, that's not true. But all I cared about at that point in time was being found not guilty. But now me looking at it, there was definitely things that I was guilty of. But whether that was my ego, whether that was my embarrassment, you know, from my point of view, because there was elements of it that I was like, well, I'm not guilty of that or that or that. I just said, well, I'm not guilty of any of this. But if I look back at it now, and in hindsight, if I was if I'm thinking clearly, and I went back to that time, you know, there was definitely things that I was guilty of, and that I should have probably actually gone with a guilty verdict on those elements, which would have meant probably that I wouldn't have got a custodial sentence, and I probably would have been there for my son Ezra, who was born, being there for my family. It probably as well would have maybe also resulted in there being less friction and problems between myself and my ex-wife, because she would have been thinking at that point in time, well, hold a second, he did do this, and he's just going not guilty. And I think me with just adamant about going not guilty actually was probably the worst thing I could have done.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's nowhere near the same thing, but I've separated from someone with a child involved, and I know that there's a lot of anger and hate that gets chucked around on both sides. I've been there. But yeah, again, I'm not trying to belittle anything that's gone on. So you're in prison.
You remember, but one of the things that I tried to do is, obviously I can't, it's really difficult to turn back the clock now. That's not anything that I can do. So the things that I've tried to do is make sure that, you know, try to do things in the right way now. So I did also, and you probably remember this, James, I reached out to a few domestic abuse charities at the start of AFC Welling's campaign, suggested that we wanted them to be our charity of choice, and hopefully be able to give back to some of these charities that are supporting women with that have been subject to domestic violence. But whilst they applauded the fact that I was trying to do something right, they also felt that it wouldn't have been appropriate at the time for the club to be supporting them. I think they felt that they needed to be a longer period of rehabilitation before they picked up with us. So hopefully I can still do that in the future, and still be able to do something to be able to repair some of those mistakes I've made in the past.
Yeah. So let's talk about rehabilitation. What does that look like? What have you done?
So I think the first thing I have to do is remove anger. I think that was the first thing, you know, because if you imagine you're sitting in a cell and all you're thinking about is why you're there and who put you there, and it's this person's fault and things like that, when ultimately it's probably a lot of my wrong decisions that resulted in me being in the prison cell. So I think, first of all, remove the anger, stop blaming other people, look at the things that are in my control that I could have done differently. And I think once I've looked at that and accepted that, that allows me to be able to move on. Because when there's so much anger and so much hate, you can't move on. So that was the first thing I had to do. Remove that anger, remove that hate. Do not blame anyone, because if you're blaming someone, you're obviously going to be angry, there's going to be hate, and you just can't move on from it. And
is that something you just dealt with yourself in your head, or were you talking to anybody?
So I have been on a significant number of courses, actually. So I went on courses in prison, which allowed me to be able to reflect on things that had happened, and allowed me to view and see things differently from not just my perspective, but think of things from the perspective of a victim and not from a perspective of just kind of defending myself. I then, when I finished my custodial sentence, I obviously had to be in touch with probation officers and with initially social services, as well as completing a 6-month course, which was called Building Better Relationships, which I used to have to go to every week with a group of people who had been convicted of similar domestic violence as myself. And that was really good because it gave you an opportunity to be able to talk and speak to other people. And also, I'll tell you what I used to notice there is it was very, very clear when people would just be there and they were just there because they had to just do the course and tick a box. And also, they would always be defending their actions. So when I used to see them doing that, I'm sitting there thinking, hold on a second, that's what I look like. I look like all I'm doing is just defending everything that I've done. So that allowed me to be able to reflect on actually the way that I behave and the way that I come across. And that resulted in me stop defending my actions and my part that I had to play. But it also really helped my relationship moving forward with Lisa, my wife. Just in any situation, really, you know, she'll probably tell you as well. When I used to go to them courses, I used to come back and it used to feel like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, because I used to sit in an environment talking for 2 hours with people about things that I would normally bottle up inside that I wouldn't deal with. Now I've got an open forum. I go there, I talk about things, I leave it all there. I can come out, and I literally used to feel free, and that was really good. And I would recommend to anyone that has got any problems or stresses in life, you know, any form of counselling is actually a really, really good way, because if anyone's like me, I bottle things up inside, don't deal with them, and then I blow. That's just me. That's how I tend to deal with things. And it's always much better, I think, to slowly release that pressure cooker as you're going along and talk about things. So when I used to go to my counselling, it used to be great. It used to be a great environment for me to be able to really talk about things and let things go. And it used to make me very, very happy. So I still try to make sure that I still do that with regards to counselling, support and things like that. So that's kind of been something which has continued to be something which I have actually now paid for privately. I don't, it's not because I'm required to do that by probation services or anyone. It's a decision that I made was the right thing for my life to continue to be able to get the support and hopefully develop.
I think it's really interesting. I was really looking forward to tonight, because listening to T Talk, it's like listening to a totally different person. I don't recognise this person, the person that was T. So hearing what's coming out today, I think it's a reflection on the man himself. And I'd just like to say how proud we should be of him. Who's somebody who's been through all that, who's come through the other side. And yeah, looking forward to see where he takes himself. I'd love to see, T, where do you think, what's your plans for the future going forward?
Plans for the future. So one of the things that I did actually say to myself, which I might have reneged on this, is I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. And the reason being is where I had my business before, which went under, I used to put immense pressure on myself to hit certain targets by a certain time frame, which resulted in that pressure was where I used to then start drinking and then doing drugs and things that I shouldn't be doing, because actually the pressure I used to put on myself I used to want an outlet. So I've always said I wouldn't put too much pressure on myself, and I want to have a good balance in life. So it's not all about work and all about earning money. It's about having a good balance with my family, my friends, making sure that I take care of myself. So I love going to the gym, playing football, playing badminton. So I think the key thing that I have to make sure that I do, I can very easily get obsessed with stuff and literally put my whole life into one thing and be obsessed with it and not think about anything else, anyone else, and that can take over. And that obsession, I think, for me, is something that I need to be mindful of. So I'm mindful of it, and my wife does remind me every now and again whether I'm getting obsessed with stuff again.
I can't imagine Lisa reminding you.
Oh, I've done it. I've done it recently. I think we were on holiday and there was one particular topic that I got into, and every single night on holiday I was watching YouTube videos for about 4 hours on this one particular topic. I think I must have wasted kind of 4 days of our holiday just on YouTube. And Lisa would be talking to me and I would just be fixed on these videos. And then I realised, hold on, I've just realised I'm getting a bit obsessed with this.
I can relate to that.
So balance, but balance to me is the key. But I do need to keep checking on that, because otherwise, naturally, before I know it, I'm down a rabbit hole with something and I'm completely invested in something. So I think that's the key, having balance. I would always feel, I think being successful is something that gets me up in the morning every single day. So whether that is with AFC Welling, you know, we do have targets in place. Everyone knows at the club in terms of where we want to get to and what we want to achieve. I think if we didn't have those targets, I think we would have a real lack of focus. So that's important to me, is still having those targets and wanting to be successful. You can't really measure success without targets. So I always have an element of targets in everything I do, my business life as well. So I think, you know, we've got some goals with regards to the football club where we want to be by the end of this season. And they are numbers on number of subscribers, number of watch hours. You know, I've got a budget already drawn up for the first 3 seasons where we need to hit, what revenue we need to make. That gets me up in the morning. That gets me motivated. Again, I have the same with the businesses that I'm involved in. They are all target driven. And that, for me, progression, I think that progression on seeing things evolve really excites me. I'm probably the sort of person, though, where it's never going to be enough. So I know if we smashed our targets this year on AFC Welling, people would be thinking, oh, that's excellent. That means we're definitely going to hit our targets next year. And I'll be like, no, we're changing the targets if we've hit these ones. They're going higher. That's the way that I've always done things.
10 million subscribers on YouTube, James. Yeah, thanks.
yeah, exactly. You'll be coming back. You'll be saying, oh, we've got this. This is the email that I found back from you, Tawhid, in the beginning of last week. So, no, I'll be like, James, scrap that one. But yeah, I think you know, you have to have that. I think it's really difficult to have that drive if you don't have those targets in place.
Yeah, I agree. And I come from that environment anyway, sales and marketing. We have targets every quarter. So yeah. Dave, you're going to say something? Like that now.
I think the whole world's like that, isn't it now? You know, it's being very target driven. So yeah,
I think it's moving on. I think this is moving on nicely now to the football side of things.
Yeah.
We've covered enough of that to explain what's going on your personal side. The football has always been something important to you. Just talk through your football career, who you played for, what levels you got to.
Yeah, so the funny thing is I never started playing football until I went to senior school. So I wasn't really involved in sports, doing anything. I've been this size since I was since I was about 10 years old. I got to 6'3". I thought I was going to be about 9 foot. Yeah, I was not about 10 years old and I was 6'3". I had a moustache, a full beard. I think I turned up to my first day at senior school and they thought I was a supply teacher.
He's only 18 now.
But yeah, I was massive.
Supply teacher.
Yeah, so I turned up at my first day of senior school, and I think the PE teacher at the time, obviously, you then have to be forced to be doing rugby, football. And I've gone and done all these sports, and I was bigger, stronger, faster than everyone. So he was like, right, you're in the rugby team, you're in the athletics team, you're doing the sprinting, you're doing the football, you're doing this. So I was doing on the same side as me, so it's not quite. I haven't really got that unfair advantage anymore.
What school was that?
That was a Nobel school, and I had a really good PE teacher that used to really push me, Mr. Bright. And then I went to go and play for the school football team, done really well at the school football team. He said to me, you should go to district trials. So I went to the district trials, got into the district team, My district manager then in year 7 said, you should go to county trials, went to the county trial, got into the county team. So literally within my kind of first 3 months, I realised, okay, I'm good at sport, but then I love football. So from me playing in the county team as well, I carried on playing in the county team, and then I went and joined the football team from some of the lads that I was in my form at school. They said, come and join this football team. Went to play for them. That was Walken, that team I was playing for. And we've done really well. We started playing against some other good sides. One of my mates moved to another team called Ickleford, which was basically like an all-star team of all the best players around Hertfordshire that had been playing for East Anglia and all the top clubs. And I played against them 1 year and done very well against them. They then asked me to join the following year. And a lot of these people from that team, funny enough, are still involved with a lot of footbul clubs around our level. So, for example, you've got the guys over at Stockfold. You've got Paul Donnelly, who plays in our vets team. He was there with me. And a lot of lads that have played non-league football as well that are still in and around non-league football played for that team. So it was a very, very good team. From there, I then... my very, very first non-league football match was actually for Boreham Wood when I was 15 years old. So the county goalkeeper at the time said to me that he used to play for reserves, and he said, do I want to come and have a game? So I went and had a game for them, and the manager for the first team played for the reserves that day, and he asked me to go along to the reserves. I played well for the reserves. Then he said to me, come and play on the first team game. So my very first game, I was 15 years old, and I come on at left back for Boreham Wood against St Albans at Clarence Park. So from there... What
step was that team?
Back then, that would have been step 2, because there was no Conference South then at that point, and they were in the Ryman Premier League at that point. So yes, that was my first kind of taste of non-league football. And then I had all the lads from my Ickleford team all went to go and join a team called Barton Rovers. So I ended up going to sign for Barton Rovers and was playing every week at the age of kind of 16 years old for them. And that was one league below, so that would have been kind of step 3 at the time. Played for Barton Rovers for a few years. Then I moved around a few teams. Went and played for Northwood. I played for Arlesey Town. Funny enough, under Nicky Ironton, who we have got a good... Yeah, he's at Walthamstow now. We've got a good relationship with him. He did actually say to me, I think when we played them, he said, if I'd stuck around a bit longer, he would have made sure that I made it. So, but apparently I was too eager. Yeah. So
just going on that, he'll help you out during your football times. So anybody there that you have to give a shout out to that really supported you.
So if I would say the people, I was a sort of player, I would get booked quite a lot, and my discipline was not very good, which would obviously have a very negative impact on the team. And when I went to go and play for Stockfold, we had Ian Anderson, who was our manager, and there was
Lee's dad.
Yeah, he was our manager. And I don't know if any of you guys have met Lee's dad. He doesn't say too much, but he kind of, when you pissed him off. And
because he played for Arsenal, didn't he?
He did play for Arsenal, yeah. And I thought I could get away with still having bad discipline. So he sat me down and obviously said, this season you can't have bad discipline. And I thought I was going to be the captain of the team. And I think for the first few pre-season friendlies, I had the captain's armband. And I think I went out on a Friday night with one of my mates and turned up at the game absolutely steaming. And I think he must have put me on the bench. And I obviously thought it's funny. It doesn't matter. I'm still captain. Next game, he took the captain's armband off me. I wasn't captain throughout pre-season. Then game just before we started the season, the players had a vote. Now, obviously, I was eating humble pie for the next 3 games, trying to do everything I could, my behaviour, trying to be spot on. He did end up giving me the captaincy, but he just kind of made sure that I didn't mess about. And I think that season, I don't think I got any bookings. I didn't get any red cards, didn't get any bookings, and I ended up being kind of a model professional that season. And I think that's because I need someone to be firm with me. I don't need someone to be pussyfooting around me saying, try and be a bit more firm. I knew Ian Anderson, he had no concerns getting rid of me. He got rid of other players that were really good players. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm hanging on to my place here now.
Ian, if you're listening, you wouldn't come and join us there at Welling, would you?
Yeah, I think definitely. I'm telling you now, he'll sort the discipline out anyway. But yeah, so he had a big influence, I think, in terms of getting me under control. And then after that, you know, I went and played for other managers and things like that. And I think I kind of realised that I couldn't be that sort of person. It's just getting sent off all the time. You know, sometimes, like I said, I would go out on a Friday night before a game. I stopped doing that. And now I'm the sort of player that obviously I do still get bookings and things like that. And I do sometimes leave a temper, but I'm the one that is like, players can't go out on a Friday night. Yeah. They need to make sure that they're always going to be, you know, have good discipline and things like that. But yeah, we had some funny stories at that Stockport team, to be fair. That team, and I think I can probably speak on behalf of every single player, and I know some of them, like Lee, he was in the team as well. We had the biggest laugh there at that team. We used to go out every single Saturday night after the game. We'd spend all our wages in the bar. We won the league that season as well, which was the UCL Premier League, which is a very, very tough league to win. But we won the league. We ended up doing really, really well. We unfortunately couldn't get promoted that year because our ground grading wasn't good enough. And then Ian moved jobs. He went to Boreham Wood and he took a few of us players with him. So we then went to go and play for Boreham Wood after that. But yeah, there's a lot of stories that I can't tell you about on that team.
Tell us one.
We had a
Lee's put a comment in as well. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, we had a end of season due to Prague. So we'd done really well in the FA Cup and we ended up winning quite a lot of prize money. So the club decided they were going to take us away to end of season doing Prague. We were going to play against the team. I think it was on a Saturday. We went there from the Friday to the Sunday. So we all got there on a Friday. We have gone out on the Friday night. We ended up going into a nightclub, and you can imagine there's 14 of us lads from England. We've all had a bit too much to drink. We ended up getting into a fight in the nightclub. We've got into a fight in the nightclub. When we're all outside, it's all still kicking off. Now, these are Eastern European bouncers, which we're used to dealing with. We're used to dealing with bouncers at Pulse nightclub on the leisure park. Do you know what I mean? Where they kind of all they cared about is just getting your way. We didn't realise Eastern European bouncers don't give a shit. So we're there. I think I got pepper sprayed in the face. After I've been pepper sprayed in the face, which I think is enough, by the way, because surely I'm disabled at that point. I then get knocked out on the floor. As I'm being knocked out, I woke up. I was in Lee Allinson's arms. He was crying. He thought I was dead. So he was sitting there like rubbing my face, like thinking I was dead. Anyway, so we then obviously all had to leave with our towel between our legs. I can't see. I'm being kind of chaperoned home. I think a couple of my mates as well. I think I was like, oh, go and sort them bouncers out. And I think they were kind of like, yeah, we'll go and sort them bouncers out. But no one went near them. We were about 100 yards, I think, saying, yeah, come on then. But yeah,
come on then. The classic Stevenage.
The next day, we've gone to go and play the game. I've got up. Obviously, we're all a little bit hungover. I've got up. We've all got to the game. It was blistering heat at that point in time. We've got to the game. We started playing the game. After about 5 minutes, my whole face has started going on fire. All the pepper spray from the sweat in my eyes had all reacted again. And literally, I could not see. And I was in agony on the floor within 5 minutes. I literally couldn't move. So obviously, I hadn't washed my face because we'd just been on a night out thinking I'm fine. Next day, sweating everywhere, literally, and again, the same pain just going through. So I had to come off the pitch, couldn't carry on playing because obviously the pepper spray actually then resulted in causing me to be disabled again. We've got some other stories as well. You know, there was a lot that went on in there, but I probably can't talk about it too much.
Lee might have something in the comments.
Lee and Lisa and everyone are having a good laugh remembering these stories. Yeah. I know you said we were moving off the previous subject, Dave, but I have got a video that Lucas sent me that I wanted to ask a question about before I play it. And we have been live for 50 minutes now, by the way. So I think we have done really well. I knew it'd go quick. And there are comments we can relate to. But I just wanted to ask you, T, going back to when you were in prison, did you keep yourself in shape? Because I'm imagining, like a movie, when you see the training montage of the push-ups and the pull-ups, and the guy comes out solid.
So do you know what? So when I went into prison, the first 6 months, I went and got myself a job in the gym, and I was in the gym for 8 hours a day, and I was the fittest I've ever been in my life. And I was sitting there thinking, well, if there's going to be one benefit, I come out of prison in pretty good shape. Anyway, we didn't hit COVID and we went into lockdown. So I was locked up in my cell for 23 hours. And the only enjoyment I had was my big bag of sweets underneath my bed, all my goodies. And I literally ate so much crap. I ended up putting on, I came out of prison.
This is perfect.
125 kg. I was gutted because I was in such shape. So,
watch this video, everyone. I knew. Perfect segue. Thank you for that. Here we go. That's T on the left. And this is a few months later.
Good, love it. Slalom, sharp,
Just before pre-season.
Sides this time, sides, yeah, sides. Leading with the front foot.
There we go.
Sides,
Back.
sides.
There you go. Did you like that?
I don't know if you guys saw. I actually, in that first video, so I decided, right, I need to get fit again. I want to start playing football. And I remember that first day, Lucas said to me, come on, we'll go and do a bit of training at lunchtime. And I said, right, you're going to be my personal trainer, Luke, and get me fit. I remember him seeing them videos back thinking, I'm never going to play football ever again. And I remember, you can see in them videos as well, I've actually got my tag on my ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had curfew, I think it was 8 till 8. So I had the tag on my ankle, which was weighing me down, as well as the extra 25 kg.
But you know what?
So, yeah.
You've given me lots of inspiration throughout this interview, and that is the biggest one, that I can get in shape again. I need Luca.
The reason I play, so when I came out of prison, I got a driving ban when I was going into prison, and they stopped the driving ban whilst I was in prison, and it only started from the day I came out of prison. So I couldn't drive anywhere, and the only mode of transport I had at that point in time was a pair of my brother's Adidas Ultra Boost trainers, which he lent me. So I was literally had to run everywhere. I had no choice, and I just pretended I enjoyed it. I did not enjoy it, but I ended up literally, I was running probably 15 kilometers a day.
I'm also laughing at Stan because he's getting a lot of fans in the comments and how much he's loving Dave.
Were you ever scared in prison, Steve?
Should I get another one? Do you want to see our other one?
I'll
get the other one.
Yes, get Ronaldo. So whilst he was doing that, I was just going to read some of these comments. Have you had a shower tonight, Dave?
Yes.
This is little Ronaldo.
Oh, check him out.
Here he is. Look how cute he is.
Look at that.
He's a good little boy. But yeah, so what, Dave, what were you saying?
I said, were you ever prison? So I've been in prison a few weeks ago where I had to go into Wandsworth prison, and I was given a talk on prison radio. And it was the noise. I was thinking, what would I hate about prison? I think the noise of the keys and the clinking. It was just constant. How did you deal with that? And were you scared when you were inside? That didn't happen.
Do you know, I think I was quite lucky, to be honest. I'm quite a big guy.
Where did you serve? Sorry.
I was in Peterborough, which is a private prison. And I think I'm quite lucky because I think prison is a little bit like, you pick on the smallest one.
It's like a school playground.
Yeah, it is a little bit like a school playground. You pick on the weak ones. You pick on the ones that look the most vulnerable. And a lot of the problems that you get in prison tend to be drug related, people owing people money and things like that. So where you see all those problems, you very rarely get someone that is just going to go and start on someone for no reason. A lot of it is around money. And the currency in prisons, like a lot of the people smoke spice and have drugs and things like that. So that was where you saw a lot of the violence, you know, and I did see a lot of violence, to be honest. I used to see fights, but it was a little bit like being front row at a boxing match, though, because my cell was upstairs on the top tier. Yeah. So when the fights were kicking off downstairs, I literally felt like I had a front row seat just watching it. And it was quite fun to be watching some of that, but didn't really get into any problem. I was playing sport, and I used it as an opportunity to clean myself up, to be honest. So didn't really. The only thing I did get in trouble for, we did have a food fight one day. So
what was that after the pillow fight? Was it?
No. So we came back I came back one day, and I think I was in. We had a drink, which we shouldn't have been doing, and we done it. Me and a few mates. I had some lads in there that are mates. Are still mates of mine now. Funny enough, I met one of my good traveller friends over there, and I don't know if you guys remember when that day that pitch needed cutting. It was my traveller friend.
Do I remember?
Who lent us the lawnmower to go and pick up all the grass and things like that. So I have actually made some friends, and I've actually helped a few people as well that I met in prison that came out that wanted to change their lives. Like that. So,
Yeah, we lost you a bit there.
yeah, there was some people in prison as well that, you know, they like me, I'd realised that they had made some mistakes in life, and I've kept in touch with them, and they want to kind of turn their lives around. But yeah, prison wasn't really it wasn't that scary really, I don't think. But I can imagine if I went in there and you owe people money, then yeah, it probably can get a little bit scary. But
Probably more, if you go in as you're 5'6", it's probably a little bit more intimidating.
Yeah, I think what it is in there as well, people will try it on with you a little bit. So people will come in and try and say, oh, what have you got in your cell? Or I remember I got given a flat screen TV one day, and I think a few lads come in and said, yeah, that's supposed to be for me. And we're like, no, that's not your TV. But I think if you kind of back down and you're like, oh, yeah, no, sorry, yeah, no, maybe it isn't, then they'll pick on you the whole time. But yeah, it wasn't. Prison it's obviously not a nice place, but it's also somewhere where you get a lot of time on your own to be able to think, and you can really get your head clear in prison as well. And that's what I used it for.
Nice. Right, we're almost hitting an hour, gents.
I think we should go on to the
comments. Yeah, we've got a few comments and some
what about
questions.
AFC Welling? Just a few questions about that.
Should we let's just segue with some of the things about T's past, because there's a question about that as well from someone, and then we'll talk about AFC Welling as well if we've still got viewers and they want to do that. So Lee said people love putting people down when they don't know them, but you won't meet a nicer bloke, more kinder, generous person who loves seeing others succeed. And Lisa said, Lee said, anyone that truly knows T will know who he really is. Lee agreed. Spot on, Lisa. Donna said, you should be very proud of yourself. There will always be people ready to put others down. Your story gives other people hope that things can turn around. Well done to you. I like that. Thank you, Donna. And Lisa said, thanks, Donna. That's a lovely thing to say. Sue said, very inspirational, T, how you have overcome all of these things. Have you ever thought about mentoring people in situations they feel there is no way out of and turn to drugs and alcohol?
So shall I answer that question?
Yeah, that is a question.
So I have actually tried to support people with this. So I have had people that I have worked with within businesses that I'm involved in that have had issues with alcohol, issues with substance misuse, and I didn't automatically want to write people off because of that. So I have spent a lot of my time trying to support people with that. We did end up in my company, actually. We end up now, we do random drug testing within the company. And if there is people that we know have got a problem that they're trying to overcome, we do try to signpost them to the right places. We also try to offer support to these people. So I'm really lucky with it. I've got a really good team of people that I've worked with for a very, very long time. And where we have had people that are vulnerable and have had problems, not just me, everyone has tried to support them. And I think that would just be something that we continue to do, because you can see, I mean, I've seen it with some people, and I've got people in my head now that I know that I'm thinking of that are some of the nicest, most genuine people, but they just have that devil on their shoulder, and they have that problem. And I can resonate a lot with drugs. And when I see people that have got that problem, and I look at them and I think, well, you're such a nice guy, you don't need to be doing that. But I also understand where that kind of comes from. So they're the people that I really like to try and help. And I think outside of that, I think one thing that I know causes people a lot of problem and a lot of stress is finances. You know, being able to earn enough money to be able to pay the bills and things like that. And one of the things that I've always tried to do within any businesses that I'm involved in is when I take people on, I only ever take on people that are trainees that have never done it before, because all I look at is someone's attitude. and their traits that they have, because I think it's much harder to try and find a good person who's very motivated, good traits. I can teach them the skills in terms of making money and what they need to do. So a lot of the people that I've taken on board have never actually done the jobs before. And I've been in a position right now where I'm still in the process of training people and supporting them to be able to improve their situation financially. So the industries that I work in, a lot of them are sales related. So they will have an element of people having a basic salary, but they'll also get commission as well. What I'm always looking to do is to try and get people to the point where they're earning significant income, where they can change their lives. And we have had that with a few of our people. And I think, we look at Luca. Luca's been with me since he was about 16 years old. And he had three or four real tough years where he wasn't earning much money. I think a lot of people look at Luca now because he's doing very well for himself, and he's kind of like my right-hand man with regards to how closely we work together. And he does very well with what he's doing, but he's been there for a long time. He's been through thick and thin. And I think, as well as where I said that I've had friends, family that have helped me through things, I look at all the people that I work with as kind of family now, because they've also been there and supported me and had trust in me and faith in me. And I wouldn't be able to be where I am, and none of the things that I'm doing would be able to be as big as they are. So whether that is businesses I'm involved in, AFC Welling, all of that, without all the people that are involved. And we talk about AFC Welling. Yes, everyone talks about how much money the club's got and we're paying these players this and we're doing that. The only reason we're able to do that is because 90% of the volunteers, including yourself, James, and Dave sat next to me, you guys are either doing things on a shoestring or you're doing it completely voluntary. And, that again, you've got Sue, you've got Dave, you've got Kai, you've got all the people involved in the club. The majority of people doing this voluntarily. So the majority of this club is run off good people giving their own time for free, a majority of the time, to be able to try and build something which originally was my dream. I would hope it's also their dream now as well. And this is something that everyone bought into, and they've got a goal that where they want to see it get into. So anything that I've ever done, the success of it has been reliant on lots of people, and that's the only reason why I think that we're going to, is the only way to be successful nowadays. And I'd always want to make sure that people that I'm working with and the people that I have worked with within every walk of life are getting the recognition they need to as well.
Awesome. That's a massive answer, T. We've got lots of questions. Carly did say, actually, before I move on, the thing about money and the club, one thing that I hear a lot is we're paying players specifically step 4, step 5 wages. What do you say to that?
Yes. So what I would say is the numbers that are banded about on Twitter are vastly exaggerated, which I think anyone with common sense knows that anyway. There's reasons for that. One of the reasons will be you will have players that come and talk to us about signing for our club, who can then go back to their own club and say, by the way, I'm talking to AFC Welling, which is going to result in hopefully them getting a pay increase at their current club. As far as everyone's concerned, we're paying so much money. So I think part of it comes from that. Because if you go to any player and you ask him how much money he's on, he's going to say he's on more money than he is. So that gets around. We are paying more money than most people would pay at step 7, because most clubs at step 7 do not pay their players. There'll be the odd few that do, but for us to achieve what we want to achieve, we have put a financial budget in place. And with us building a squad from scratch from 5 months ago, we have no youth team. We have no we had no development team or youth structure or anything where we could pull players from, and we had this goal of achieving promotion in year 1. So a lot of the time, the way that we're going to be able to do that is to financially compensate players to convince them to come. So we have had to do that, and there is an element of that. Had we been a club that was established in 1950, that has got a fan base, that has got revenue,
tattoos on our legs.
There's no need. You don't need to do that, because you're a self-sustainable club, and actually you can take things a bit slower. The reason we wanted to get the success in year 1 is so that we can get a fan base that is coming on board this journey and feeling they're being part of something that's successful. we're promoting it on YouTube and everywhere so that we can make it a financially sustainable club.
Yeah.
I would anticipate in 3 years' time, we will be paying the same as whatever teams are in our league, because things would have settled down. We would have an established club. We will have some history behind us. We hopefully will have a youth team behind us that is feeding players through us. But with anything, for you to be able to build something successful, there's going to need to be a certain level of investment. And we've done that. And we've done that in a couple of areas. Like I said, in the playing budget, we tried to make sure the players have got everything they need that, a step 3, step 4 club would have. We've also invested in the behind the scenes YouTube side of things as well, because that doesn't necessarily come cheap. So there is elements of that, but there is a plan for that to all be financially sustainable. And there is a model, and the YouTube model we are using is what we're looking to utilize to be able to make that financially sustainable. So there's a method behind what we're doing, and there's a reason why we're paying the money. It's not because, well, I can 100% tell you, it's not because Lisa's happy with it. She keeps telling me that we need to curb our spending. But yeah, so there's a plan, and
Okay.
I'd like to think that, said in 3 years' time, we won't have to be necessarily doing all that.
Yeah. Carly, I'm not ignoring this question. You have asked a question that I think T's already answered about funny stories from prison, and we've got other questions. Adam, I wanted to jump to you because you're a member, one of our 2 members. Adam Sparshot says, first of all, thank you for talking to us all today and for discussing your private life. Secondly, I'm enjoying following the AFC Welling story this season. Will you enter the FA Cup next season?
Okay, so we will be entering the FA Cup next season.
Woohoo.
But I'm going to let you guys all into a little dream of mine, and a little goal that I have got. So next season, I'm going to be 41, and I would anticipate my playing days are coming. The end of my playing days are coming closer.
Next few weeks.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Listen, if things are laughing, I think my playing days are done. But my goal, and I've kind of got this in my head, next season we enter the FA Vars. So that will be all the teams in the country from step 5 and down that are going to. I might deal with that. 1 second. Oh,
What's he got? Someone at the door.
No, we can't comment. Can we comment on that?
Is Lisa going to go mad about whatever it is?
no, Lisa can't find out.
Nothing.
So, yeah. So next season we'll enter the FA Vars, and that's all the teams from step 5 down. The finals played at Wembley. So once the what I'm hoping is we're going to get to Wembley, and I'm going to retire at Wembley next season.
So no pressure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Carly says, I just referenced this without realising. If we get promoted this season, are you going to get an AFC Welling tattoo on your calf?
No, I haven't got any tattoos.
You'd never get an AFC one?
I don't think I would ever. I don't think I will get a tattoo. Don't think so.
There.
Yeah, maybe right there. Yeah. No, I did see though when we played against Old Bradwell, I did see that the Old Bradwell manager had an Old Bradwell tattooed on his leg.
That's what I was referencing. Yeah.
Rich should be getting an AFC Welling tattoo.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Sue, by the way, said, I think we all should, Carly. We get a job lot of tattoos. And Carly's up for it, definitely. Well, that's the end of the questions so far. Dave, you had more for tea, didn't you, about the footballing side of stuff?
Yeah, just about the footballing side of it. I suppose, Big Rich plays a big part, being the manager and that. How did you come about getting Big Rich involved?
So me and Rich, Rich used to be my next door neighbour. So when I come out of prison, I moved in next door to him, and I've seen this guy, and my mate Lee at the time said to me,
looking in your window.
Where he said he was moving, Lee said to me, there's one of my mates that lives down that road. His name's Richard James. Anyway, so I've then moved in. And as I'm moving in, I've got some character looking at me thinking, who's this guy moving in next door to me? Wouldn't really stare at me, wouldn't really talk at me, just ignored me, looked rude, looked like he was pissed off that someone else was moving in next door to him, just generally unhappy. And then I said to my mate, I said to Lee, I've moved into this house here. And he was like, I was like, oh, this guy lives there. This is what he looks like, blah, blah. I went, I think I moved in next door to him. Anyway, so he then rang Rich. Rich was like, yeah, we had someone moving next door to us. So then after that, obviously, Rich realised, he was like, oh, he's all right then if he's a mate of Lee's. Yeah. And me and Rich started talking, got on. I was going through that stage of me getting fit again. I wanted to start playing football. Rich told me he managed Welling under 23s. And he told me to go and play for them. So I played for them, done pretty well for them. Fell out with all the players because I lost my temper one day, shouted at them all, ended up leaving. Me and Rich kept in touch though. I went to go and play for Collicott then. As me and Rich kept in touch.
Did you play for Collicott?
Yeah, I played for them last year.
Yeah, second in our league.
They are second in our league. Yeah, they're a very good club. I like the guys down there. They're very good guys. It's a good club. And me and Rich kept in touch. And when I was looking at this plan my plan was to buy a club, but any conversations that I had with any clubs just stopped at the point where I was saying I want to buy the club and what plans I have with it. And I very quickly realised that if I go to a club, they're not interested in me purchasing their club. So that's when I thought I'd set up a club from scratch. And that's where the plan came about. When I was chatting to Rich, and we said, well, let's take over the under 23s and rebrand it.
Yeah. I'm just looking at your screensaver there. Your two boys. We've got a picture of the two boys for the team. Who are they playing for?
So there's my two boys. There's my screensaver there. I've got one on the right hand side, blonde one, and one on the left hand side. So there are two boys on the right hand side. The boys are now 13 and 14. So it was my middle son. It was his birthday on Saturday actually. They both love football. Unfortunately, I'm not in touch with them yet. So obviously, after my custodial sentence, I lost contact, went via the courts, and I haven't been in the position where I've been able to re-establish contact with them, even though I would give up everything to be able to have a relationship with them two boys. And if that, hopefully that day will come sooner rather than later. But one thing I'll never do is I'll never stop trying to fight to see them and do what I want to do, what I can to try and build a relationship with them one day. But from what I've seen, obviously, because of social media nowadays, their football club is very strong on social media, and I'm seeing some fantastic goals from them. My boy Issa, he's definitely like me. He's about 6'3". He's only 14 years old. I think he was top goal scorer for St Albans last year. I think he got 20 odd goals last year. And then my boy Elias is playing an age group above. He's apparently a very, very talented midfielder. I think he's scored about 8 goals already this season as well. So hopefully I've got actually it sounds like they haven't got my footballing ability because they seem like they're quite good.
It looks like the future of AFC Welling looks good.
I'll tell you what, I would love that one day. But yeah, hopefully I know from what I gather, they are really, really keen on actually being able to have a career at a higher level. So I'm hoping one day that might happen for them. And hopefully some of my contacts along the way might be able to help that as well.
You're still there, James?
Yeah. I was just playing around with social media tags and things while you guys were talking. Are you out of questions, Dave? Because I've got a couple more.
No, I was just go on. You go ahead.
And by the way, people, keep your questions coming in if anyone else has got any more. We've still got 23 people watching, so thank you for that. And we've been live an hour and 15 minutes, so that's pretty good. Just something you said right at the beginning, T, in the first 20 minutes, you mentioned having an ego ruling the way you acted and stuff back then when you were making all of that money. And it reminded me of something someone wrote, I think, on Twitter. It was either Twitter or the Spartan Forum, when we first announced the club and everything, and someone wrote a comment along the lines of, as long as it's not just a vanity project, like an ego project. How would you answer that?
Well, I think from my point of view, I could use my money in very different ways if we're talking about kind of vanity and ego. So from my point of view, all the things that I'm trying to do with the football club, being able to provide football to players, not just whilst I'm playing. So I'm looking at building a sustainable club. So I love the fact that I can be involved in playing in this football club right now, and an element of it will have to do with me always being involved in the club. But I would like to think in 5 years' time, I mean, this club isn't going to be about me. This club is going to have its own future. It's going to have its own history. It's going to have all of the characters that are involved in it. And one of the things I think that we've even recently been talking about is just making sure that everyone involved in the club is everyone that the fans are getting to know who they all are. So we spoke about doing exactly what we're doing right now. Obviously, we've kicked off with me on this kind of podcast, but I think next we're going to be going around some of the other people within the club, talking about them. They might not be been as colourful as my life in the last few years. So I don't know.
We need a break.
Exactly. But no, I think, I do love football, and I invest in businesses, and I am building AFC Welling to be a financially sustainable business. And I build lots of businesses, and as I said, we started a club with no fans. So we've looked at YouTube to be our source of revenue, which is going to result in me having to be on YouTube, which is going to result on me being on camera. One thing I'm going to be very honest about is I do love the fact that I can go and watch myself playing football after games. It's great. Like, to be able to do that is there's nothing better. Going to watch your games back. I love watching the Death Before Defeat, seeing all the behind the scenes stuff as well. So for me, I really
shout out to Carly on that.
Yeah, really good. I really, really enjoy all the behind the scenes stuff and everything. But no, not a vanity project. Hopefully, just being able to invest my money into something that I've got a love for, which is football. And,
so you see this when you're 80, 85, still chairman or whatever, handing the reins over the club you started to somebody else when you want to retire. That's what you see in the future.
I'd love it. I'd love that. Listen, I come from a family that love football. Lisa's family love football. I mean, if you look around at our match days, you will see Dougie there, you'll see Carly there, as well as obviously Lisa there, and you'll see all the family there. So we love football. We've got Josh, who plays for the first team as well. We've got Neve, who plays for Watford. So everyone's involved in football. So what better place to spend our weekends at a football club?
Awesome. You can probably hear dogs barking on my microphone now, and it's not Stanley. On the comment of getting someone on, Luca actually said, can we get Lee Allison on next? I don't know. You'll have to ask him, Luca.
Lee will be able to tell all the stories that I haven't told, but it will tell them about bits I done badly.
Exactly. And on that... Sorry, Dave.
No, go on.
I was going to say, on that note, if anybody in the comments has got, like Luca, an idea of who they want to hear from next, we've got an idea. I was thinking probably club captain or something like that, or one of the top strikers. But yeah, if there's anyone in particular you want us to get on, let us know and we'll tap them up this week. Any more questions from you, Dave?
I've only got one question, and it's a bit awkward now because Lisa's just walked in. It would be really good to mention Lisa and T's relationship, because as we all know, seeing the two of them together is priceless. But I just wanted to ask T, what has Lisa meant to him, and how much help has she given you in your time, both on and off, in and out of business, and with everything that's going on?
So I've known Lisa since 2016. She first came and she came to work for my business, and we've known each other since then. She's probably the only person that has ever been willing to disagree with me about everything. I think I told you guys that I had 85 staff, and every single one of them used to just say, yes, sir, no, sir. And there was one that didn't, and that was Lisa. So you'd think that's the person to fear of. And that hasn't really ever changed. So I think when me and Lisa got together as well, some people were like, oh my God, that is going to be a disaster, because they were thinking Lisa's quite a strong character. I'm a strong character. And they probably thought there's no way this can work. But yeah, like I said, I need some element of control in my life, some element of balance in my life. And I think being with a strong person means that gives me that element of control and balance, and just checking on me to make sure that I'm not doing things that I shouldn't be doing, also the other thing is as well, I found very early on that if I'm lying, Lisa knows within about probably 10 seconds. So there's no.
How does she know that?
I don't know how she knows. She's obviously not going to tell me, is she? But there's no bending the truth. There's no getting away with anything with Lisa. So obviously, I'm saying I'm this changed character. Basically, I'm just shit scared of her. So
she's a hostage. She's a hostage downstairs.
I've got my laughter button. I forgot about this. You like that?
But Lisa's been there. You can imagine Lisa's been there through everything. She's been through there when my business was going under. That was in a professional capacity because me and her weren't together. She's been through there whereas my marriage was breaking up as a friend. Then she's been there through me then going through a custodial sentence when we were both in a relationship. She was then in a position where she had to then go and give birth to our son without me being there. And then the other thing that I would say is after all of that, I come up with all these crazy ideas like, oh, by the way, I'm going to go and put loads of money into a football club and set up a YouTube channel. And she'd obviously tell me that I shouldn't be doing all these things, but obviously I've already gone and done them. So once I've already gone and done them, the nice thing is she does support me with them after that. So with whatever I request from her. So she doesn't always get the recognition that she deserves, but I don't think I would be able to do all the things that I'm doing now. I don't think I would be as level-headed. I don't think I would have as much control. And I also don't think I would reflect on things as much because I would probably fall into the place that I was before, to be honest. I've got so much to lose and I've realised I've lost everything once before and I don't really want to be in that position ever again to not learn from my mistakes. So I think I've learned from them and this time round I'm not going to make the same mistake twice.
Nice.
Good.
I've got a question for you, Dave.
You got a question for me?
Yeah, how come you always end up laying down?
Who said that?
No, it's my question.
I'm not. Have you seen the size of this couch?
A couple of people, Sue and Carly, both put a request for Big Rich on one of these episodes. The only thing I'd say about that is Rich is pretty much on every video we put out, and I don't think I've got enough buttons to stop the swearing. I'll be pressing that constantly if we get Rich on here. But yeah, we could get Big Rich on. Are you watching tonight, Rich? I haven't seen any comments from him.
No, I haven't seen any either.
Rich.
No. But yeah, I mean, I thought the idea we'd get more people that don't really get on much exposure on the videos and stuff, so people get to know the characters around the club. And I think they know Big Rich quite well, don't they? But we'll get him on, for sure.
A couple of players.
Kendall and Mengi, Carly's just said, yeah, I think that'd be a good
call. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Anything else from you, James?
No, I think we've been live an hour and 25 minutes almost. So thank you to everyone that's on. I mean, I've got all the closing stuff to say about please sub. 80% of the people that watch our videos are not subscribers. I think everyone who's in the chat and active tonight very much are subscribers. But if you watch this back on demand, please sub. It costs you nothing. And it means the world to us. It means the world to any small YouTube channel just to get that sub. Sue has just said get Liam on, but only with his hair down. That's a good shout. Sue's infatuated with Liam's hair, I have noticed. Have you got anything to say about that, Dave?
What?
Sue's infatuation with Liam's hair.
She wants me to grow my hair the exact same as Liam, she said.
Should we go to Turkey? I need to sort my ball patch out and my teeth. Should we do a media trip? Dara's on. Hello, Dara. He's suggested Mehdi and Mengi. What's happening with Mehdi? Have you got an update on Mehdi?
No, I think he's still injured.
Still injured, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Carly says, watch the episode, please. I think she means death before defeat. I almost said victory again. Definitely watch that. I played an ad for that at the beginning, Carly. Don't know if you saw it. And Georgie said it's because Dad has no hair. That's why Sue is always talking about Liam's hair. But yeah. Have you got any more questions?
I don't. Have you got anything you want to say, T?
No, just thanks for thank you to everyone supporting the club so far. Obviously, we've got some targets we need to hit in terms of subs that we were saying before. But yeah, just keep watching, and we'll try to keep it as entertaining as possible. I think with our death before defeat, we've changed things a bit, haven't we? We've really tried to show people everything that's going on behind the scenes. But I think if anyone wants to, there's anything that people would like to see more of, tell us about that, so that we can make sure that our content is appropriate. We do try to put everything in there. James is constantly filming, and he's, puts everything in there. Dave was quite surprised actually. I do not even see the episodes before they go out. So the first time I see them, because I'm not a member, is actually the same time as everyone else, 6:30 on a Monday. So I'm always sitting there thinking what's going to happen, what's going on, and things like that. But yeah, if there's anything people want to watch or want to see, let us know.
Yeah, that's a great shout. And also, hang on, Richard said I'm here. Richard's here. Just some geezer. Oh, I know who that is. That's an account that I know someone's created. Great content. Enjoy the insight. Good to get to know everyone. Will there ever be a little focus on devs? Yeah, good shout. Coaching staff there is superb as well. Huge experience and knowledge. Yeah, definitely. I think this is a great opportunity to get devs on as well, actually, because we don't often get to their games because we're at the first team games and we go to first team training, so we're not at dev training, but we can definitely get them on this.
No, I think we should definitely look at that, and I'm really happy actually with regards to the development team. So when we started, I think they had some poor results, didn't have some consistency. I think Cookie has worked a bit on the personnel and the players that he's got. We've now also got Phil that is supporting them, who has obviously got lots of experience, running football clubs. He's been involved in non-league football, so I think he'll be great for development from them. And the plan for us is to look. I think there's a few players already within that development team that we're looking at now, that we want to get involved. So we're hoping that over the next, probably the next month or so, we can start bringing them in.
Yeah, it's a great shout. Another thing I just thought of is volunteers. You talked about volunteers. We always need more. We need camera operators. We need people that want to learn about live streaming, so I can go and operate a different camera and someone can operate live streams. We need volunteers around the ground, I think, still as well, don't we? As well as media. So if you know anyone who's got an interest in cameras, media, anything. What's that, Dave?
What about Adam?
Adam, yeah, Adam Sparshot. Super fan. Come and be a super cameraman as well. Cookie has some great Arsenal knowledge from his glory days. That's Craig, isn't it? Just some geezer. Hello, Craig. He's that old. And Luca also said, get your worm out before you go. Now, on that note, I think we should save the worm for when we hit 1,000 subscribers. That's what
I'm too old for that, man.
Huh?
I'm too old for that. I always split my eye open.
You did it at your wedding. I caught you doing it at your wedding.
Yeah, I did. I always split my eye open now, but I'm too old and too heavy.
Too busy. Adam said he's too busy following Stevenage FC as well. Fair enough, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
We thank you very much for your support, though, because you're really active on the Facebook group. If you're not a member of our AFC Official fan page, that's on Facebook. Just search up AFC Official. And Adam is very active in there, so thank you for that. And he's always tunes into our live streams, even the commentary ones. I think you won a shirt as well, didn't he? Right at the early days.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one. Thank you, Adam. And you've obviously subscribed to the channel as well. Joined the membership, which is fantastic. Yeah, I think that's been great, T. I think we definitely got across your kind of reform, where you were, where you are now. I think anyone who watches this will see what we all see on a daily basis. And I thank you for taking the time out to do it. It's been really good. And thank you to Dave as well for taking your time out to ask questions and be there. It's been really good. Darren's just retracted a message, but what he doesn't know is I can still see it on here. He said something about a helicopter. I don't know why he retracted it.
I think he wants a helicopter over from Ireland for the matches. He said tell T to send a chopper.
Okay. I don't know why he retracted it though. Did you get embarrassed, Dara? Don't get embarrassed. He just changed his wording. That's all. Cool. Well, I think that's been great. So yeah, thank you both. Thank you for everyone who stayed online. We've got more viewers now. 26 people watching. So it might be you two on your phones just tuned in. But yeah, an hour and a half of solid conversation. It's really good. So yeah. Thank you.
So now we can refer whenever a team gets abused, we can just refer them to the YouTube.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, look at the YouTube, mofos.
That whole point, that closing statement to, there's always banter in football. It's a battle, right? When you go on the football pitch, you want to defeat the other team. People get angry, people get emotional. But bringing in someone's personal life, the way people have been, just is pointless. You can battle and be aggressive and have banter and abuse the other team without being personal. And we'll just refer to this, like you say, Dave, if that comes up again. So, yeah.
All right.
Up the Romans. Right. I didn't play any of my tunes. They weren't really appropriate for tonight's conversation, though, were they? Right.
Can you just go now, yeah?
Just what?
Yeah. Go.
I don't want to go. I want to keep talking. Right. I'll let you guys go. Oh, there's Lisa, right? We've got to stay now. What did she say? Hi, Lisa.
Hi, James.
Right, we're going. We've still got 25 people watching. I feel like we're letting them down if we go. I'll leave you with...
Actually, I thought it was just James. I didn't realise he was watching.
Yeah. Hello? Come on.
Yeah, there's still plenty of people watching. Right. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget you can join. Love you all and see you next week.
Bye, James.
Bye, James.
Bye.